Good morning. How can I help you today?
Good morning. I already have an account here, but we'd like to open a new account for my wife.
Yes, I'd like to open a savings account.
Of course. Do you have a valid photo ID, like your passport or driver's license?
Yes, I have my passport right here.
Great. We also need proof of your address, something like a utility bill or a rental agreement.
I have my lease agreement with me.
Perfect. I'll make copies of these documents. While I do that, could you please fill out this account application form?
Sure.
Would you like to link this account with your husband's account or keep it separate?
I'd prefer to keep it separate, please.
No problem at all. Also, would you like to get a debit card with this account?
Yes, that would be great.
All right. Once you finish the form, I'll set up your new account. It will take about 10 minutes.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Let's take a closer look at the conversation we watched and explore some key vocabulary and useful phrases. In that scene, a husband and wife visited the bank to open a savings account. A savings account is a type of bank account where you can keep your money safe and let it grow slowly. It is mainly used for saving, not for daily spending. The bank pays you a small extra amount over time, called interest, as a reward for keeping your money in the account. You can take out the money when you need it, but it's usually meant for saving, not for regular use. Another common type of account is a current account, which is the usual name in the UK. In the US and Canada, it's called a checking account. This account is used often for daily spending, bills, or business needs. When you open any account, the bank may ask you to keep a minimum balance. This means you must always keep a certain amount in your account. You will also need to show some documents, like ID proof, for example, a passport to prove who you are, and address proof, like a utility bill, to show where you live. After your account is opened, the bank may give you a debit card. You can use this card to pay in shops or take out money from your bank account. A credit card is different. It lets you borrow money from the bank and pay it later, usually with extra charges if you delay. The person who helps you at the counter is called a teller, a common word in the US and Canada. In the UK, they're often called cashiers, and in Australia or Canada, you might also hear bank clerk. If you need help with opening a new account or have questions, you may be sent to a bank officer or customer service officer. Banks may also take small amounts of money for services, called service charges or fees. Every bank account has a special number called an account number, which is used when you send or receive money. Now, let's learn and practice some important phrases that will help you speak more fluently when you go to a bank to open an account. When you visit the bank to open an account, the first thing you need to do is tell the bank officer why you are there. This is called expressing your need. You can use polite and simple phrases to explain this clearly. You can say, "I'd like to open a bank account." This is a polite way to say that you want to start a new account. If you already know the type of account you want to open, you can say, I'd like to open a savings account. Or I'd like to open a checking account. Just use the account type you want to open at the bank. This helps the bank officer understand your need right away. Some people also say, I want to open a savings account. This is correct too, but it sounds a bit more direct. In formal places, like a bank, I'd like to is better because it's more respectful. If you are not sure about the types of accounts the bank offers, you can ask the officer for information. For example, you can say, "What types of accounts do you offer?" This will help you know which bank account type matches your needs, and then you can choose the right one to open. And if you feel confused or unsure, you can say, "I'm not sure which account to choose. Can you explain the difference?" This is a polite way to ask for help in choosing the right account for your needs. Next, you may need to ask about the documents required while applying to open a new account. You can ask, "What documents do I need?" Or, "What documents do I need to bring?" This helps you prepare everything in advance before your visit to the bank. When you are ready to give your documents at the bank, you can say, "Here are my ID and address proof." This lets the bank officer know you're giving the required papers. You might also need to ask about any rules or fees. For example, you can ask, "Is there a minimum balance required?" This means, do you need to keep a certain amount of money in the account? You can also say, "Are there any service charges?" This helps you understand if the bank charges any fees for account services. If you don't understand the charges, you can say, "Can you explain the charges?" This shows you want to be clear before opening the account. Lastly, you may want to ask about the process and the services you will get. You can ask, "How long does it take to open the account?" Or, "How many days will it take to activate my account?" These phrases will help you know when your account will be ready to use. If you want to know what items you'll receive, you can ask, "Will I receive a passbook or debit card?" Or, "Can I get a debit card with this account?" Learning and practicing these phrases will help you speak with confidence when you go to the bank. They will make your conversation smooth, polite, and clear. Now, let's practice some of the phrases together. I'll say each phrase 2 times. You can repeat after me. Ready? Let's begin. I'd like to open a savings account. Repeat after me. I'd like to open a savings account. What types of accounts do you offer? What types of accounts do you offer? What documents do I need to bring? What documents do I need to bring? Is there a minimum balance required? Is there a minimum balance required? How many days will it take to activate my account? How many days will it take to activate my account? Well done! You're doing great! Now, let's move on to the next topic. First, listen to the conversation carefully.
Good morning. How can I help you today?
Hi, I'd like to deposit this amount into my account.
Sure. Could you give me your account number, please?
Yes, here it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Thank you. Do you have a filled deposit slip?
Not yet. Can I get a deposit slip, please?
Of course. Here you go. Fill it out and return it to me.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, how can I assist you today?
Hi, I'd like to withdraw some cash.
Sure. From which account?
Please deduct it from my savings account.
All right. May I see your ID, please?
Yes, here it is.
Thank you. Let me process that for you.
Now let's learn and practice some important vocabulary and phrases that will help you when you visit the bank to deposit or withdraw money. We'll start by understanding some key words that are useful in these situations. When you deposit money, it means you are putting money into your bank account. You might go to the bank and give cash or a check to add to your balance. To do this, you often need a deposit slip. This is a small form where you write your account number, the amount you want to deposit, and other basic details. Once it's filled out, you hand it over to the bank officer along with the money. On the other hand, if you want to withdraw money, it means you are taking money out of your account. For example, you might need cash for shopping or travel. Cash simply means real physical money, like paper notes or coins, and you can either deposit or withdraw cash at the bank counter.
Now let's go over some useful phrases you can use in these situations. If you're at the bank to deposit money, you can say, "I'd like to deposit this amount." This is a clear and polite way to tell the officer what you want to do. If you don't have the deposit slip with you, you can ask, "Can I get a deposit slip, please?" After filling the form, when you hand it over, you might say, "Here's my account number," to help the officer locate your account quickly. If you're at the bank to withdraw money, you can say, "I'd like to withdraw some cash." This lets the officer know you want to take out money from your account. You can also say, "Please deduct it from my savings account," to clarify which account the money should come from. And if you're not sure about the process, you can politely ask, "Do I need to show my ID?" to confirm whether identity proof is required. These words and phrases will help you speak more confidently and clearly when doing common tasks at the bank, like depositing or withdrawing money.
Now, let's practice some of the phrases together. I will say each phrase 2 times. You can listen carefully and repeat after me. Try to match the tone and speak clearly. Let's begin. I'd like to deposit this amount. I'd like to deposit this amount. Can I get a deposit slip, please? Can I get a deposit slip, please? Here's my account number. Here's my account number. I'd like to withdraw some cash. I'd like to withdraw some cash. Do I need to show my ID? Do I need to show my ID? Well done! You've just learned how to talk about depositing and withdrawing money at the bank. Now, let's move to our next topic. First, listen to the conversation.
Good afternoon. How can I help you today?
Hi, I'd like to apply for a personal loan.
Sure. What will you use the loan for?
I want to renovate my house.
All right. How much do you need?
About $15,000.
We'll need some documents like your income proof and credit history.
I have my payslips and tax returns with me.
Great. Do you know your credit score?
Yes, it's 720.
That's a good score. You make it a low interest rate. Would you like to go ahead?
Yes, please.
I'll prepare the forms and explain the next steps.
Now, let's understand some important vocabulary and phrases that you will often hear when talking about loans at the bank. These words will help you understand what the bank officer says and will also help you explain your situation clearly. When we talk about loans, there are different types. A personal loan is the most common type. This is the kind of loan people take for personal needs, like home repairs, education, or buying something important. It's different from a home loan or car loan, which are for specific things. So if you are borrowing money for general personal use, you are applying for a personal loan. The bank may ask you about your credit history. This is a record of how you have handled money in the past, like if you have taken loans before and whether you paid them back on time. Along with this, they may also look at your credit score. This is a number that shows how trustworthy you are with money. A high score means you usually pay on time, and it increases your chance of getting a loan with a lower interest rate. The interest rate is the extra money you pay to the bank on top of the loan amount. You may also need to show your pay slips or salary slips. These are documents from your workplace that show how much money you earn. They help the bank check if you are earning enough to repay the loan every month.
Now let's look at some useful phrases you can use when applying for a loan at the bank. When you go to the bank and want to apply for a loan, you can start by saying, "I'd like to apply for a personal loan." This is the most polite and clear way to tell the officer why you were there. If the officer asks you why you need the loan, you can say something like, "I'm planning to renovate my house." You can change this based on your purpose, like paying school fees or covering medical expenses. To explain how much money you need, you can say, "I'd like to borrow $15,000. Just replace the amount with what you need." The officer may ask for documents. You can reply with, "I have my pay slips and tax returns with me." This shows that you came prepared with important papers. You may also want to ask about interest rates. You can say, "What is the interest rate for personal loans?" Or if you know your credit score and want to share it, say, "My credit score is around 720. These phrases will help you talk confidently and clearly while applying for a loan. Now let's practice some of the useful phrases together. I'll speak each phrase twice, so listen carefully and then speak with me. I'd like to apply for a personal loan. I'd like to apply for a personal loan. I'm planning to renovate my house. I'm planning to renovate my house. I'd like to borrow $15,000. I'd like to borrow $15,000. I have my pay slips and tax returns with me. I have my pay slips and tax returns with me. What is the interest rate for personal loans? What is the interest rate for personal loans? Well done! Today, we learned and practiced useful phrases in 4 of the most common and important banking situations: opening a bank account, withdrawing money, depositing money, and applying for a loan. If you found this episode helpful, please give it a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, share it with someone who's also learning English. It might help them too. I'll be back soon with another helpful and practical episode. Until then, keep practicing these phrases and vocabulary until they feel natural to you. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.